Wow. Now, this is very, very good. No flaws detected. This training aid cost me £1. This training aid cost me £60. This training aid cost me £500. And this training aid cost me £8,000. In this video today, we're going to be talking about the benefits of all of them and how they can all help your game. But there's one that's going to stand out. And also, let me know in the comments, what's your favourite training aid? So we are going to start cheap and cheerful. Training aid number 1. And this is £1. Unbelievable deal. This is simply going to be a training aid that trains arm structure. So I'm going to put this band on just above the elbows. And essentially what this is going to do is keep my arms connected. Now this is going to be a great feel for some of the shorter shots. And actually I really like this training aid for, you know, the shorter golf shots in the swing. The chipping, the pitching especially. I think the arm structure should be pretty tight together. You know, there doesn't need to be any massive separation in the golf swing. So yeah, for me, starting off, this training aid is pretty strong and, you know, hard to beat on value for money. It costs £1. And this is simply training something, keeping your arms tighter to the body. You know, when I take that off, if I can try to repeat that same process that I was doing there, you know, keeping the arms attached to the body, already I can feel them wanting to, you know, separate a little bit in the backswing. And, you know, that one's going to be a great starting point if you're a beginner, just to make sure them arms are moving correctly. Now, you can still use this training aid and get it wrong. This is where I think a lot of training aids have flaws and problems, because although they promote you to do something, you can still override that with a problem. So let me just give you a good example here. Now I'm going to try and go down the line. Hopefully we don't hit the wall in the sim. But if I have a massively underneath path and I get a bit of early extension here, you know, we can still have them problems even though the arm structure is now in a good way. You know, I'm very lucky in my swing. I've got a good understanding of what else is going on. But, you know, if there's other problems, you know, you're dipping your head. And there's still other problems in there that this isn't going to solve everything. So I think that's one thing. When you get a training aid, especially like this for £1, don't expect it to change everything dramatically. Now, this is going to do the arm structure and get it a little bit tighter, but that's it. You know, if there's still other problems in the swing, you're swaying off of it or doing something else, this isn't going to fix it. Okay, the made famous by Rory. A lot of guys on tour using this green ball device called the connector. Now, I managed to find myself a cheaper one online. Yeah, this device is pretty similar, I'd say, to the £1 band. You know, I would actually arguably say this is a little bit better than the band, but essentially promoting the exact same thing. So, you know, I'm essentially squeezing the ball, doing my move, and the ball should stay in. Obviously, if there's arm positions in your swing where they're getting disconnected, you know, the ball's going to fall out. So, you know, another great training aid for arm structure. But then let's simply address other flaws in the swing, like early extension, like dipping in the backswing. This isn't going to fix all of them issues. So yet again, if this fixes one flaw, the arm structure, there's still other components to the golf swing that are very important to hit a straight golf shot. So this isn't going to make you Rory McIlroy, unfortunately. And I'm sorry to say that. If you thought you were going to turn into Rory by buying this training aid, you're probably not. But for me personally, I love this training aid. I love the £1 one. You know, arm structure for me is definitely something that I'm big on. And I think if this is in a good place, it's quite hard to be bad at golf. I think if your arms are, you know, nice and tight in a good position here, down into the ball and through, it's hard to actually hit bad golf shots. But obviously there's other components in the swing, swaying, dipping, early extension. You know, there's a lot of other things that do pay a big factor and a big price into where that ball goes. So two very good introductions to training aids, and obviously moving into these last two are going to be a big step up in price, especially the last one. But there's the middle ground, and I think this next training aid is going to be something that could help massively for a lot of people. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of reasons why I like this third training aid. Bit of a step up in price, but the 4D Motion Golf Vest. I've had this on the whole time during that intro and the first two training aids, but you would never have known. The one thing I like about this training aid is the fact that it doesn't change how I feel or what I do with my arms or anything I do in my swing, because I've simply got it on. I'm not adding it to the golf club. I'm not putting it in between my arms. I'm not changing the way that I stand when I'm hitting the ball. I'm going to simply do my golf swing, and it's going to pick up on what my flaws are. So that's what I love about this training aid. Obviously, when you buy the training aid, you stick in between your arms, you put in the top of the club, you might strap round your leg. These are all things that you're not going to have on you when you hit that first tee shot. I've had this on the whole time and I've not even noticed it. So that's the one thing I really, really like about this, is that we're not actually changing anything about what I do day to day. And even when I go and step on the tee on Sunday at 8 a.m, first group out, you know, I'm going to be the exact same as what I am right now. I've just got this little vest on that's picking up every single move that I make. So all I'm going to do is, there's this white device on the front here that I'm just going to turn on, hold down, and then that will connect to my phone. Okay, now to set up the garment is quite funny. We're going to stand still in the attention pose. Calibrating, successful sensor setup. Let's go. This device. And here we go. Here is my 4D Motion Vest now appearing on my phone. Let's make a golf swing. First swing of the day. First full one anyway. Wow. Now, this is very, very good. No flaws detected. Thank you I love you, 4D Motion. I love you. Right, let me just try and get one where I go over the top. Okay, that was a big over the top move. Hopefully it picks it up. Okay, straight away, we've got an over the top as one of my top flaws. And here it's showing me what's gone on in my golf swing. Now this is so in depth, but I love it. And look, even straight away, we've got tips here. Over the top is characterized by torso bringing the arms and the club out over the plane in transition. Rather than the side bending to get on slightly under the plane and then rotating powerfully through the ball, this steep approach reduces power, encourages an early release, and makes it difficult to control direction. So, I mean, straight away, we've detected our flaws in our golf swing. I literally said I'm going to go over the top. It's picked that up straight away. And I'm a bit of a data freak. So, you know, I'm going to pull this down now and I'm going to go full analysis and metrics. And I can go down and deep dive all of my numbers so I can see the setup, the flat shoulder plane at the top, reverse spine angle, obviously over the top highlighted in red there on the right hand side. We've got loss of posture, pelvis bend. So many different things within this app that it's actually highlighting each swing to a measured degrees, which I love. I'm like I said, I'm a bit of a data freak, so I love seeing numbers. For me personally, that's how I get better. I need to see a number of improvement. Now, obviously visually, you can see, you know, oh look, my swing's now You know, if my club's not there anymore, it's more here. Right, visually, we can see that that's getting a little bit better. But what's better than that is a black and white number to show you're getting better. We're not guessing. We're not just saying it looks better. I'm showing you a number, a data parameter that's showing you've got better. I love it. I just want to showcase another part to this where we've got a training side within the app and we can go through different parameters in our swing, areas, takeaway, halfway in the swing, impact. I like the top of the swing one just because it gets me in a really nice position with the shoulder angle and also the pelvis rotation. For me, I sometimes get a little bit deep with the pelvis.
Stay down, stay centered, and feel loaded, not over-rotated or lifted.
You can see that I'm just pulling that club up, going into that backswing, and it's good every single time. Let's go one more. For me personally, that is getting better. Every single time I'm repeating something, I've got it to work off of. We're not guessing. That's what I love, and I think I need to put across in this part is that we're not second guessing anything that we're doing whilst we're training and practicing. We're actually seeing data that provides to us. Are you getting better? Are you improving that backswing? Has that backswing got a little too deep? You know, I'm going to show you a number to say I have got better. You know, and that for me is the reassurance I need to go and get better at golf, especially when you're standing on the first tee, if you're feeling a bit nervous and you know that that backswing has been in that position every single time within your warm-up, you're going to be a lot more confident stepping onto the first tee, especially when, you know, you can get your arm structure in a good place, but like I say, if you're early extending, you're dipping, there's so many other flaws that can creep in. Of course, the arm structure needs to be good. Of course, there's loads of other things within your golf swing that need to match up as well. But this provides everything. I've not externally put anything on my body. I've not put, you know, I've had some training aids that just go on the top of the club. I had a training aid years ago. Can't remember what it's called, but used to go into the top of the club and it used to measure some things. But it used to really, really freak me out that there was something massive and bulky on the top of the club. You know, it didn't feel right. You know, it maybe changed the weight of the golf club ever so slightly. So it was different. You know, this is literally a vest. And you didn't even know that I've had this on the whole time. So, you know, it looks like I'm just magically getting this data. But yeah, I've had this training aid on the whole time and I'm super impressed with it. So I'm going to leave it down in the description below if you do want to check out the 4D Motion Golf Vest. And then we are lastly going to go into the £8,000 golf training aid. Okay, so we're now at the final piece to the puzzle, the launch monitor, £8,000 Foresight GC3. I do want to say also that if you do your swing work and everything fundamentally sound within the golf vest, within that arm structure, if you combine all these things together, hopefully you produce a good ball flight as well. Because ultimately, if all of these things are in a good place, you should get some pretty good numbers on the range. I mean, that was so bad. Right, but straight away, we've got some data. So, my club path there was 2.1 over the top. Now, maybe a little bit too down actually. Sometimes when I'm hitting my driver the best, I'm more up on it. But, you know, that's understanding my data and seeing where the numbers are good when I'm hitting it good. That's what backs up what you do and how you do it. So, you know, I know that if I come in here and I'm getting numbers like this, 7.3 over the top, 0.9 down, you know, I'm nowhere near where my good golf swing generally is, you know. That isn't where it feels or looks. This is actually data that provides me to show you, right, this is what it looks like when it's a good swing with numbers. So let me try and do that. This is my third swing of the day, so with the driver. Give me a bit of leeway, guys. Okay, so a little bit better there. 1.3 over the top, but it's getting closer to where I need it to be. And that's not me guessing. That's not me saying, oh, it feels closer. That's me saying, no, numbers. Like, that number is closer to where I need it to be. So when the numbers match up to what I do, it should produce that. Close, close, close. 0.8 over the top. So, you know, you can see that I'm not just saying it feels like it's getting closer. I'm actually providing you a number that says, no, it is getting closer. Oh, mate, that felt really... Oh, 0.4. Very good swing. And I think you can now start to see that all of these training aids, all of these devices, it does marry into the overall picture of what's going on out on the golf course. So, to round up that video, the £1 training aid, the £60 training aid, I think all of these ones that are promoting something or helping something in your swing, just be careful because it doesn't fix the whole golf swing. That's what I love about the 4D Motion Golf Vest that, by the way, I've still got on. I completely forgot I had it on. And that's one thing that I really, really like about it is the fact that you don't even know you're wearing it. And I think a lot of other training aids I've had, I've almost been too aware that I've got a training aid on or I'm using one. And I think that's one thing I really, really like about the vest is the fact that I can do what I do, I can swing my swing, and I'm not changing anything. I don't know that I've got anything on, so essentially I'm just doing what I do. You know, whenever you change your stance or whenever you put a ball in between your arms, whenever you strap your right arm to your side, you're doing something that you're not going to do on the first tee on Sunday morning when you're playing with your mates. You know, you're not going to use that on the first tee when you play with your mates because you can't play with a belt strapped around your arm, you know? So I think when training the golf swing, I've always been data driven, and especially in this day and age where we've got the data to provide, are we getting better, are we not? I think it's a fantastic thing to move forward in your golf game, is understanding, is there a number that shows I've got better, yes or no? And if there is, fantastic. And mentally, you now know you've got better. Not just by feel or look, you can see a number that's gone from maybe red to green in one session, which is fantastic. And mentally, I just think that is going to help so much. I know I'm getting better because the numbers are real. The data's showing I'm getting better. It's not guessing. And that's one thing I love to do is know that I'm getting better by a data parameter. So if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button as it really, really helps me out. And leave a comment down below. What is your favorite training aid? And are you data driven? Do you prefer the feel side? This is me personally. I love seeing numbers. I'm a data freak. That's just me. But let me know in the comments what you like. I'm off to golf. It's freezing cold, but thank God GX have sent me these heated mittens because otherwise I'd be freezing. See you all for the next one.